open the dams like they did in New Orleans when that fucking Katrina shit hit. But their excuse is, listen to me, this is their excuse. They say, well, we opened the dam so the river won't overflow. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you opened the dam where you open the dam where you flood neighborhoods, right? Anyway, so the river won't overflow instead of building drainage systems. Wow. And I thought about it. I'm like, damn, you know what? All that water during Katrina came from that dam being open. It didn't come from the fucking rain. Look how the water looked. It was like
They
river
blew the
water.
levees. They blew the levees in Katrina. People heard them explosions. They blew the levees. The Army Corps of
Right.
Engineers.
And New Orleans is a fucking bowl. It's like under sea level. I think Houston is slightly under sea level. So if you open or blow these levees or open the dams, you're gonna have some flooding in these areas, and the rain just not matching up with the flood no more, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Like every time it rains, it fucking floods. Like it comes straight to the tires, and you be like, what the fuck? It only been raining for 5 minutes. Shit. So I'm trying to just look at what gets affected when these things happen. And we can't lie, weather modification is a thing and it's been a thing for a while. And there's a lot of people that can make a lot of things happen, like a national emergency, right? If the weather gets too bad down here in the Gulf, right? So you got to look at the entire 40,000 foot view. Every time this happens now, if we get a thunderstorm, the lights going out and it flood and tree branches are down now. Straight up. And it flooded bad. We ain't talking about no bullshit flooding. We're talking about the water's in your car when you come outside. Every single time it rains now. It don't matter if it's a hurricane. It don't matter if it's a Harper storm. It don't goddamn matter. That shit is flooding, and the electricity gets affected. And now I'm on some shit like, okay, could they possibly 2 million people right now don't have lights in Houston? That's the report I'm getting, right? Is there a possibility that the electric companies could be working in cahoots with the motherfuckers that's controlling HARP and just fucking turning people lights off? Is that a possibility? I mean, if you get people food to spoil, right? If you get people food to spoil that spent their last dollars on food, legit crisis, if FEMA don't help your ass. See, people wasn't tripping about their car being damaged and stuff with this last thunderstorm that came before hurricane season. People were tripping because all their groceries went to shit. Like people lost $700 worth of groceries and shit, right? So if you're living from check to check, you're making $10,000 a month, 12,000. We already looked at the statistics on this. I looked at it a while ago. That means that you spent your last on them groceries, or you don't have the type of money to go back and make $700 worth of groceries. And depending on the circumstances with your rent don't went up and everything out here. Everything went up in Houston. Everything. It's expensive as shit out here, right? Now you're affecting people personally. You see what I'm saying? And what do people do when they ain't got food? You see what I'm saying? Like they create the crisis and then they try to have a solution. But now it's taking the solution a long time to be sought out. Take them 4 days to restore the power after all these motherfucking thunderstorms and shit and hurricanes we done been through. They should have something in place that'll help us out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it should the light shouldn't be out for 4 days. You know what I'm saying? It's
Well, it's um, it's all up to the governor, right? And then that takes us back to a point I made in recent history about the difference in behaviors between Dan Patrick versus Greg Abbott. And I'd like a lot of people to take a look at what happened on the border when Abbott was out of town in India, big kicking it with his Eastern counterparts. What Dan Patrick did. So it's a lot that goes on in between different positions out there.
Did we lose Patriot? Or can y'all hear him?
The
No,
flood
I
Okay,
came
it's
and
the
think
weather.
snatched his
yeah.
ass up.
But he never lied about those. Yep, it says host is having connection issues, so we may lose the space.
Yeah, my
Unless he goes out and comes right back.
He may have tried, but yeah, they definitely blew up the levees. I don't know who was speaking when they said that, but yes, that is true. They messed over us down here in Louisiana. And our drainage is messed up.
You would think with the billions and billions that is stolen in taxes
They sent
that
it
they
to
would have the
Ukraine, Alpha. Don't
yes,
get me
they
started.
did. Yes, they did. But
You're back, Patriot?
Patriot ain't spreading lies talking about he got a 5G phone. That fool got he got a rotary phone that's tapped into his IBM computer. That's how he's operating these spaces.
Alpha, you never been through a hurricane. It don't care if you got a 5G, 109G, point three
Let
thousand.
me tell you this. I have not been through a
See?
hurricane.
Yes.
I ain't got no intentions of going through a hurricane because my ass experienced a tornado in Wisconsin
Oh
one
my
time during military
God.
training, and I was just like, nope, leave my ass in Cali. The ground can shake. We can do a little, we were twerking before twerking was cool,
You are silly.
and I'm good with that, man. I'm telling you, when I saw, it wasn't just like one tornado; it was like one big
That's
one, but like a
scary.
bunch of little ones. And I was like, "What the
That's
hell you mean you
scary.
can have more than one tornado at once?" So I said, "Nope, nope, you ain't sucking me into the sky. That ain't gonna happen."
Yeah, now that's something I'm scared to go through, but be safe, Patriot. I know how that is, and they purposely do cut your lights off on purpose, and they do cut the towers off on purpose until they get things under control. For the areas that don't have lights and electricity, they cut a lot of people off in the grid on purpose while they're working. So, hope you get your lights back on really soon. No, they don't do
I
it
hate
on
that shit. I
purpose.
just got
Oh yeah, they do it on
no, no, no,
purpose.
no, no, no. I was thumbs down in the fact that they do that to people. That's crazy. I mean, this
Yep.
storm, Charlie, this storm isn't that bad. It's not like, man, it's not nothing like what I went through that one day, man. It ain't nothing like that. Like that was worse. If you ask me, that was the hurricane. That shit that I went through a month and a half ago, that was a motherfucking hurricane. This was a harpicane.
Yep, I
Some,
get
This
it.
somebody
bullshit was
sent
a
me a
harpicane.
somebody sent me a video late last night, maybe early this morning. There's one of those TikTok videos about the name of the hurricane. You guys familiar with that at all?
What did they say about
Nah, tell
Burrow?
me.
All right, so I'm going off memory here, so hopefully somebody can find this and then drop it down in the purple pill. If not, I'll grab it and put it down there. But you know, the name of the hurricane is Beryl, right? And so this dude researches the name, which comes back to a female name, but essentially it's the name of a stone. And I guess there's a part in Revelations, or maybe it's Paul or combination thereof, where he gets this vision, and there's different stones on the different pathways of the gates of heaven, and one of them is beryl, which is it looks almost like an emerald color kind of stone. But anyways, he creates the easy to understand of why this name beryl is so important in the connection to the beryl stone and the connection to revelations. But then he brings it again, and when you look at the map of where hurricane beryl is going to hit Texas, one of the first major cities it's going to hit is Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. And so he starts talking, he lays that one out, and then the next major city right after it hits Corpus Christi is supposed to be Victoria, talking about victory. And once again, going back to the stone being the eighth stone and eight being new beginnings, that there's a lot of symbolism stuff that went into this. And I know I did a terrible job of summarizing it, but like I said, hopefully somebody can find it, drop it down in the purple pill. If not, I'll look for the link that was sent to me to share it with you guys. But it was pretty cool.
Whoa, bro.
Ooh.
I see that. I didn't see. It'd be a lot more shit at play when this type of shit happens. Like they be trying to talk to us through these harpicanes, y'all. They be trying to holler at us, man. They be trying to send encrypted messages and shit, like with the path of the storm and shit, type shit, right, Alpha?
100%. I mean, the same thing with the eclipse, the same. the ability
Yo, Alpha,
for
did you see that graphic I put up where I did the overlay for DSOS of the eclipse path and the hurricane path?
if you did it recently, I did not. If you did it back then, I probably did because I saw a couple of them. But people just need to understand this. This is not conspiracy. You have our government and military on record saying that they have the ability to control weather. So this is no longer conspiracy. It's 100% possible. The other thing about that is once you can control weather, then it becomes a nature of weaponization of weather. Because if we can control it, that means other governments and militaries can control it. So then it becomes who can control it, make it more powerful. They hit us with something, we hit them with something, and then they just want to do this all under the guise of climate change.
So you could damn near start a fucking war with controlling the weather. Like you could just be at war with just weather machines alone. Like,
Patriot, how many of you guys are familiar? About a year and a half ago, I think it was China or Japan. One of them threw up the artificial sun. You guys
Wait,
remember
hold
that?
on.
China
What
did
you
that.
mean
China threw it
artificial
up.
sun? What y'all talking
Oh, you didn't
about?
hear about
Yeah,
this,
Wait,
Patriot?
what?
China threw up.
Okay.
China threw up an artificial sun long time ago, and it never came back down. They launched it, and it in my line Alpha, and it never came back down. Right,
I don't remember the end result of it, so I don't know if they only had it for a certain amount of time to see how much
bro.
power and heat it could generate.
Last
But
time I checked, they didn't bring it down. Like they launched it,
well,
but they never said whether they brought it down or not.
here's the important part of it though. Were they doing it because there's this quote unquote fear of our actual sun burning out? Which, if that's the case, we've been told it's still billions of years away from that actually happening. Or are they doing that because they know that our countries or their enemy countries have the ability to create darkness over their country to destroy their crops, to create chaos? And this is a way of having a countermeasure in the event that one of their adversaries wants to black out their sky. I mean, all these are very possible scenarios because what they keep trying to get everybody to buy off on, oh, climate change, and we need to donate money for climate change. No, it's not. This is weather weaponization, and they need money to fund it, and they need money to launder it, and they need to make sure that they control everybody, because if they tell you that, hey, the all 99% of the tornadoes and hurricanes you've seen are because we created them, our enemies created them, people will go in panic. There'd be chaos.
Ooh, Alpha! Wow. So when they say climate change, they could possibly be talking about funding this bullshit with this HARP shit, this weather manipulation shit. So we're essentially funding our own disasters, and then FEMA don't want to help.
And it's just common sense. Look at us here in California, right? You guys hear about our rolling blackouts and our rolling brownouts all the time, right? Everybody hears about it. But yet, Newsom is passing laws to make sure that all our vehicles by a certain year all become fully electric. Why are you forcing people to move to a source that requires more electricity when we don't have the capacity to handle electricity we're already dealing with? Why? Because it's an element of control. Because then it goes back into the social credit score. Well, we don't like the way you talk, and we don't like your political ideology, or we don't like your religious ideology. So you're only going to get so many kilowatts to your house. So you can fund your AC because it's hot as shit in California, or you can power your vehicle, and you need that vehicle to go to work. This is all about control.
Bro, that's crazy. That is crazy, bro. That's fucking. Go ahead, Trilly. I don't want you to forget your thought. Go ahead.
Cause you know me like that. Stop it. Let me tell y'all something about this, the hurricanes and things. It's gonna be more, unfortunately, because it's been quiet for a few years in our Gulf. It's been quiet for a reason. They've been waiting. Our machinery has been waiting until something like an election. Understand there are targeted areas when they do that to cripple certain people from being able to do certain things. We're like, what, 100 so days out before the election, and just know everything is done on purpose. And I also want to know about the coordinates. Do they mean something, like when they put out these hurricanes and do things like that, the numbers, the coordinates of those numbers, and the things that happen in our skies, does that mean something when you put those numbers together? So it's a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, but just know areas are targeted when it comes to being flooded out to keep certain areas crippled. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like Alpha said. It was the same thing with the eclipse. You know, it was very cryptic. You know, like once I seen the trajectory and all that stuff, I was like, wow. And it was a breakdown, and I was like, what the fuck? Like that's I didn't even it's shit that you're not even expecting. But the thing is, Trelly, they have to put it out. What they're doing, they have to tell you. Remember that. They have to tell us what they're doing. So when Alpha said what he just said, I mean, damn, now that shit brings a whole new light to funding climate change. Like, they're the ones changing the fucking climate. They're the ones doing that shit with this fucking weather. And they like they're not gonna get what I'm thinking. Alpha is they're not going to get a World War III. And I think they know this. The only thing they could do now is scare people into thinking that they're going to get a World War III and cause crazy disasters all over the United States. Remember, New York had a fucking earthquake a month, 2 months ago? Like all these earthquake was happening. That was a cryptic message too, right? Like if you saw,
No, that was in Pennsylvania too, Patriot. It was New York and PA and all the surrounding area.
yeah,
We all got it.
the path of that cultivating an Alpha. Do you remember Alpha? What was said about that earthquake and how the path? Because everybody was trying to justify it and say, well, the aftershock always goes a certain way, but it was just so weird because New York and Pennsylvania got hit. Do you remember what was said about that earthquake, Alpha?
I don't. I remember that there was a lot of speculation around it, but I can look it up, but I don't remember.
Man, it had something to do with the tunnels underground because you know that church in New York synagogue had them tunnels underground and shit. It was something like that. It was something very like important. I was like, whoa, like it's a lot more going on than the eye could see with this shit, man. And I have to tell y'all, I'm out here in the middle of it right now. Well, I mean, I'm in the car because I had to charge the phone and shit, but it's not nothing like what I saw when it got completely dark. It is absolutely nothing like that. Yeah, you got tree branches down, you got a little flooding here and there, but this category 1, it apparently it didn't have anything on what we had experienced within a tenth of a second. Like they turned the shit on quick. It was like, oh, you got a thunderstorm. Oh my God, it's a tornado. Watch out, take cover. And it was like, whoa, what the fuck? You like, where am I at? I mean, where are the other cars at? I can't see shit. Only thing I see is rain, lightning, and wind. That was it. And I'm like, I saw like the poles, the metal poles on the side of the interstate. You know them big ass light poles rocking back and forth. I'm like, oh shit. If them bitches fall, we in trouble. So it's just weird now, man. It's almost like every fucking time it rains, Alpha, um, it floods now. And every time a thunderstorm come, the lights go out for a long time. Every single time. It didn't used to be like. I don't know if y'all, Charlie from Baton Rouge, Charlie, y'all get a lot of rain and shit out there? Do y'all usually flood? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like after Katrina and
Oh,
Rita, it looked like,
Oh, Patriot, let me tell you something. It went so crazy in Baton Rouge one time. It was out of nowhere. It started raining, and if you look it up, it's just called the Great Flood because it wasn't a hurricane. They didn't label it as a thunderstorm. It just flooded. I mean, we was on boats, like trying to leave out our neighborhood. And my mom has a lot of acres on her land, and they have like a neighborhood pond sitting there. We went to her house because her ceiling is higher than ours, man. We was all gonna be floating. We all lost. A lot of people lost their homes, and the weather, it wasn't on the news. We didn't have any track of it. All of a sudden, we had rain pouring down by the inches in minutes, and it didn't stop. And we flooded out. Everybody was escaping on boats. People were getting rescued like from the streets, and I mean, it was high, like 9 inches. I mean, 9 feet of water in certain areas. We people lost everything, everything, everything. So yes, it's planned, and I don't know. It was neighborhoods that flooded.